Thank you for coming here today. And to our revered delegation and their representatives, respected city and airport staff, and prominent members of our community, our neighbors, and our friends. I am humbled. I'm humbled and truly, truly honored to host you all here today for the official logo unveiling and dedication ceremony honoring Senator Patrick Leahy at the Patrick Leahy Burlington International Airport. Today is one of those days that our airport, our community, has long awaited for. Well, the airport's new name was announced earlier this year by our amazing mayor and our respected city council. Decades of hard work and tireless commitment is what it's taken to be here today. We serve over 1.4 million passengers every year. Leahy BTV is one of New England's busiest operational airports, and we are on target this year to beat our 2019 passenger numbers. Last week we also received national recognition by USA Today as one of the best small airports in the country. I'm so excited about that, if you couldn't tell. And this is all in large part, very large part, due to the opportunities made by our congressional delegation, with many of those efforts led by Senator Patrick Leahy. He has created lasting impacts to our airport, and I could not be more proud to have our airfield bear his name. A native Vermonter, Senator Leahy has dedicated his life to serving others, to serving us, and to creating opportunities by being a voice for our region. In his 48 years of service as the longest Vermont senator, his leadership has garnered bipartisan support on the highest congressional level and has united our state. Throughout his tenure, he has been instrumental in obtaining federal funding for an array of airport projects. Most recently, a $19 million program for our terminal consolidation project and new passenger boarding bridge, proudly displayed behind us. Yes. The design of Project Next, which is our newest terminal project, will continue transforming our terminal, especially the North Terminal Wing. Starting in 2024, was a result of his efforts achieving $34 million of funding. Thank you, Senator Leahy. Thank you, Senator Leahy, for being our beacon. We are very lucky to have such great support, not just from our federal delegation, but also within our local community, you all. And most especially, I'd like to take this opportunity to also thank Miro Weinberger, Mayor Miro Weinberger. Our airport would not be what it is today without your support, your guidance, and your leadership over the last 12, 20 years and longer. Thank you so much, sir. The airport's new name is the foundation of our next steps. We are so proud to dedicate the next generation of Leahy BTV in honor of the invaluable contributions of one exemplary person. Welcome to the Patrick Leahy Burlington International Airport. And now I'd like to welcome our amazing mayor, Miro Weinberger.
Wow, well, Nick, thank you for getting this started right. That was a great start, and it's even better to look out and see all you here. So grateful that so many of you from the city team, from the Leahy family, some of you traveling from far distances to be here, have gotten here. I see many members of the airport community here as well, the Beta team, the Chamber. There are so many organizations that have contributed to making this a great airport for so long, and this is a great celebration of all your work, as well as an exciting milestone for Senator Leahy and Marcel. So Marcel and Senator, I'm always happy to see you here. I'm especially honored to welcome you back to the Patrick Leahy Burlington International Airport today. First time I've had a chance to do that, and to thank you and to honor the immense impact that you've had through your lifetime of service to the people of Burlington and to the people of Vermont and to this country. Senator, the benefits of your leadership and long career of service are immense and really far too long to fully recount here, but I do want to hit several highlights. After being raised in Montpelier, after going from the steps of the State House, you have made Vermonters proud by taking our values to Washington and to the world stage. You've shaped the laws of our country with great integrity and moral strength. You've shown me, during my time where I was so fortunate to serve in your office, and countless others, what good government and thoughtful governance can do to make the lives of the people we serve better, safer, and more just. Your leadership to ban landmines has helped heal some of the wounds of war and prevented countless future tragedies. These kind of tragedies are very much on the minds of Vermonters right now. We are gathering at a time when war is once again raging in Europe and the Middle East, and when it is very clear that at times all that separates us from a world dominated by tyranny and terrorism is the willingness of free people to fight for liberty, justice, and democracy. It's the men and women of Ukraine, of course, who are paying the ultimate sacrifice in the war against Putin right now, and it is the innocent people of both Israel and Palestine living in terror following Hamas's horrific attack that we're meeting under that shadow. Senator, through the Leahy laws, you change forever the way the U.S. engages in and shapes global conflicts like these for the protection of innocent civilian lives, and we're particularly thankful of that at a time like now. It's not just for our country that you've delivered, of course. Vermont is a far different and better and more vibrant place because of your work as well. Standing here, it is easy to literally see a major piece of your legacy. Of all of Burlington's stories of recovery and investment over the past 12 years, none has been more dramatic than at the airport. When I came into office almost 12 years ago, the airport was one of 2 junk bond rated airports in the entire U.S. and was courting disaster with less than 1 month's cash on hand. Today, BTV is now one of the busiest airports in New England and is one of the great economic engines of the region, contributing close to $500 million a year to the local economy every year. And none of this success would have been possible without the support from you, Senator Leahy. You've always understood what a critical link the airport is between Vermont and the world, and you worked tirelessly throughout your 48 years in office to strengthen that link. You supported the Air National Guard, and General Nate, welcome to you as well, and many of your colleagues. Thank you for being with us today. You understood the Guard was a key partner in the airport's success, and you played a leadership role in securing an astonishing nearly $145 million of additional funds that we are investing now over the next 5 years. And you did that just before you and Marcel came home to Vermont. Your support for Beta set the stage for the company to sign last year a lease, an 80-year lease with the city. And just earlier this month, I was proud to stand by your side as we celebrated the opening of Beta's new headquarters and production facility on the other side of the airfield. You know, the city has been the proud steward of this airport for over 100 years. And one of the reasons that the city is proud to have this role is because of what an important place this is in the lives of so many Vermonters. Here, hundreds of thousands of travelers pass through these doors each year, and they get to see a glimpse of the best of Burlington and Vermont, a place where we invest in safety and in innovation, where we value local goods, labor, and artists, where the well-being of our community drives progress, and where we take pride in welcoming visitors into this state. It provides the first steps and last looks to those visitors as they experience Vermont and our city, and it is the place where Vermonters wave farewell to friends and family, and where they embrace loved ones upon return. And it is perfectly fitting that now and forever, this place will be called the Patrick Leahy Burlington International Airport. And now I have the pleasure of welcoming up to the podium another great partner in the leadership of this airport, and on so many issues. It's been an honor to work with him, Governor Scott.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very pleased to be here as well to help recognize our friend, Senator Leahy. You know, you remember back when Senator George Aiken decided to retire from the United States Senate. It was 1974. After 34 years in office, he'd earned the reputation of being a staunch defender of our state and added Vermont's voice to the national conversation in a number of ways. So his shoes were going to be difficult to fill. And that fall, Vermont put the responsibility on the shoulders of a 34-year-old state's attorney. The rest, as they say, is history. In the time since, Patrick Leahy has worked with 9 presidents. And as pro tem of the Senate, he was third in line to the presidency. He introduced 1,768 bills and cast 17,374 votes, the second most in Senate history. Not bad for a kid from Washington County, by the way. He carved out a legacy that will benefit Vermonters for generations to come, and that's because he always served with an eye on what was best for his state. And that's why we're here today. It's this legacy and appreciation for all he did for Vermont that secured and earned his name here in Burlington at this airport. The airport, has been said a few times, but we're going to keep repeating it, brings thousands of passengers a day to our state, which is great for tourism in the hospitality sector, but it also supports our Air National Guard and the F-35 mission, and essential to employers like Beta Technologies, Global Foundries, and others. So its contributions to our state are significant, making it very fitting to name it after Senator Leahy, whose many contributions cannot be overstated. But I want to be clear, as much as Senator Leahy has done for this airport and this city, his most important legacy, in my opinion, is the work he's done to make sure that rural communities across the state and throughout the country have a seat at the table. As I said in my inaugural address in January, you just need to look at how he used the small state minimum to prevent states with larger populations and larger congressional delegations from taking the lion's share of federal funds. He made sure Vermont wasn't left behind or shortchanged. And that made a huge, huge difference for us here in the state. In fact, I often say, if not for Senator Leahy and his constant focus on what was best for Vermont, we wouldn't be what we are today. That's why I've called on our state legislators to follow his example by putting their communities at the center of everything they do in Montpelier, because there's no better way to honor Senator Leahy's legacy than to deliver for Vermont's small communities, the way he always delivered for our small state. It's not about getting your name on a building, it's about the impact you have beyond any one building. The senator always understood that and always remembered where he came from and who he was working for. I hope more of us can take that to heart, because we have a long road ahead of us in the face of this summer's flooding, which is going to take all of us at the state and federal level rolling up their sleeves and staying focused on who we are working for. And by the way, Senator Sanders, Senator Welch, and Congressman Balint are working on that right now. And as we work to secure more federal funding for flood recovery, I know that's at the top of their list. Vermonters have shown Vermonters have shown time and time again we can put politics aside, maybe not that, but we can put politics aside and come together to help our neighbors. And today we celebrate a public servant who did just that throughout his whole career. So thank you, Senator Leahy, to both you and your former team. Many of his members of the team are here today. John Tracy's right there in the front. For all you've done for Vermont, you should be proud of that work. And my sincere thanks to you too, Marcel. Because as we all know, no one does any of this alone. Naming this airport after you is just a small way to show that appreciation. So congratulations again, and thank you so much for all you've done for our state.
And now from Senator Sanders' office, I'd like to welcome Haley Perot. I think I mispronounced that, but Haley. Yeah.
Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to be here today. Thank you. On behalf of Senator Sanders, I want to congratulate Senator Leahy on the renaming of the Burlington International Airport to the Patrick Leahy Burlington International Airport. This is a fitting tribute to Senator Leahy's 48 years as our United States Senator. As a champion for agriculture, the environment, Lake Champlain, and countless other issues that Vermonters care about, Senator Leahy has left a legacy of investment in communities and some of our state's most valuable resources. The ability of Vermonters to travel by air has long been an important means for connecting us with others and bringing people to visit our beautiful state. With the airport's renaming, Vermonters and visitors alike will be reminded of the impact that Senator Leahy has had on Vermont and the nation over his nearly 5 decades in Congress. Mrs. Leahy has recalled a common refrain of Senator Leahy's upon landing at the airport when returning from Washington: "It's good to be home." Today, by naming the airport in Senator Leahy's honor, we add even more meaning to that refrain and say to you, Senator Leahy, it's good to have you home. Again, on behalf of Senator Sanders, congratulations on this very fitting honor and recognition.
Thank you, Haley. And now from Senator Welch's office, Jeff Van Oot.
Good afternoon, all. Thank you, Nick, Senator Leahy, Marcel, Governor Scott, Mayor Weinberger, and the rest of the congressional delegation for the opportunity to speak today. As a current Welch staffer and a former Leahy staffer, it means the world to be up here. Senator Welch and Margaret regret that they are unable to join everyone in person today for today's momentous event to celebrate the renaming of the Burlington International Airport to the Patrick Leahy Burlington International Airport in honor of the decades of work that Senator Leahy gave to the airport during his time in the Senate. With over 50 years of experience flying in and out of BTV, it is great to see the airport recognize one of its most frequent flyers. The Burlington International Airport has always been an important link between Vermont and, well, now the Patrick Leahy Burlington International Airport has always been an important link between Vermont and the world, and Senator Leahy has been one of the airport's biggest supporters, helping BTV secure over $100 million in federal funding since 2000. This is because he always believed that the airport is Vermont's window to the world and an essential economic engine that the broader economic development community across Vermont depends on. Throughout his 48-year tenure as Vermont's United States Senator, Leahy made an explicit effort to put the Vermont way on display to the rest of the world. He understood that Vermont's values of community and compassion can and should serve as a beacon of hope and refuge to citizens across the globe. He has been a longtime champion of efforts such as refugee resettlement, and particularly those that bring people from around the world to Vermont. Senator Leahy took many trips abroad to represent the country and Vermont as a member of the United States Senate, at times flying in and out of BTV. Whether he was in Vietnam, Cuba, or Washington, D.C., he and Marcel always brought Vermont with them. Again, Senator Welch and Margaret are sad to not be here celebrating in Burlington today, but from now on, when they make their flights home to Vermont, they'll be proud to be flying back into Patrick Leahy Burlington International Airport. Senator Leahy, congratulations. No one else is more deserving of this honor.
And now from Congresswoman Balint's office, we have Thomas Renner.
Senator, I think of the many times that I got to come to the airport to either drop you off or pick you up alongside John Tracy and other staff. And I can't think that back then we never would have thought that this airport would have been named after you, but boy, it's about time. The Congresswoman isn't able to be here, obviously. She's currently in D.C. Trying to vote for a speaker. So she sent me with a note to read for you. I'm grateful that Vermont has had opportunities to honor and thank Senator Leahy and Marcel since their return home. Vermont is not an easy place to get to. It is one of the things that we both celebrate and sometimes regret about our little state. Senator Leahy has always understood that a vibrant aviation hub was essential to a vibrant economy and community. His dedicated efforts have allowed us, this institution, to expand for beyond landing strips and baggage carousels to support technological innovation and the education for young people. Now Vermonters and visitors alike will be reminded of your tremendous contributions every time that they touch down or take off. Senator, in your retirement remarks you said, "It is time to put down the gavel. It is time to pass the torch to the next Vermonter who will carry on this work for our great state. It is time to come home." And after many decades of flying through BTV on your way to or from DC, how fitting is it now that, Senator, you'll be greeted by the Patrick Leahy International Airport every time that you come home.
I think we're all done for today. Not even close, Senator. As Leahy BTV enters a new era, our refreshed visual brand identity celebrates our airport's storied past, its future achievements, and the contributions Senator Leahy has made to our community, to Vermont, and to our country. Visually, our new logo depicts the unique landscape paired with an ascending gesture towards the skies above. An artistic interpretation of the Champlain Valley, its lakes, rivers, mountains, fields, and skylines, all culminating with an aircraft ascending towards the adventure and accomplishments ahead. The bold colors of the logo incorporate the blue, green, and white of our beloved city of Burlington flag. As we continue to look towards the skies as a source of inspiration, we will ever forever be reminded of the contribution and legacy that Senator Leahy has made us so very proud of. From our humble beginnings as Vermont farmland, through our 100-plus year history of innovation within aviation and air travel, our shared passion to reach toward the sky has long been a cornerstone of BTV's existence. Evolution, passion, service, and innovation define our airport. And will continue to electrify our progress for the next century to come under the name Patrick Leahy Burlington International Airport. We are boundless. We are transcendent. We are visionary. We are Leahy BTV. I think for the moment I hope we are all waiting for, I'd love to have the speakers join me on my left side. Mayor Weinberger, Mrs. Leahy, Senator Leahy, I'd love for you to join me at the podium. And guests, in just a moment, please join me for a countdown of the unveiling of our new logo. Mayor Weinberger, Mrs. Leahy, Senator Leahy, are you ready? Okay, we're going to start at 10. No? 5? Are you ready? In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can all take your seats and come right back here. I think we have a very important person to hear from.
All right. Man. I hadn't quite expected that. I was wondering, and I'm so glad that so many people are here. I invited my friend Bruce Wayne. He never showed up. But I was glad to see Batman show up. But Governor Scott, you know, your kind words, Mayor Weinberger, Nick, your words, the words from Vermont's congressional delegation, and I salute all three of you. Thank you. It actually does humble me. I was sitting and I whispered to Marcel. At one point I said, "Darn, this is really happening." And I think as a young man from Montpelier, student at St. Michael's, I walked out here right out onto the tarmac to take my first flight. General, I think it was a DC-3, and we're flying to Albany for one of my classmates' weddings. And when I mentioned to our kids who have been flying from the time they were young children, I said, Dad, I was in college when I took my first flight. He said, Dad, they hadn't invented the airplane till you were in college. But I just want you to know I get a lot of respect from our children. I'm glad to see all the Vermont press here. I'm also glad to see from the UK, I'm glad to see BBC here. And I'm not about to announce, I'll leave this for later for Nick, the non-stop flights from here to London, but and we will invite the BBC back for that. But I think of all the memories I had from that first day climbing onto that very uncomfortable airplane, the DC-3, but the thrill I had of flying it. And then I think of all the nearly 5 decades of flying back and forth several times a month between here and Washington, and thinking of the greetings I get from my fellow Vermonters, and how many times Marcel would say, we're home, and we are home, and this means so much. I think of this airport, I was here in the crowd as a young student when John F. Kennedy stopped at Burlington Airport on a final campaign stop to an overflowing crowd. And everybody knew what a wonderful man. Of course, everything said he couldn't win, and the next day he was elected president. I know that feeling. And then there were countless other, some more notable than others, when Captain Richard Phillips returned from being rescued by Navy SEALs to a huge crowd of international press, and he said also he was home after being held captive by the terrorists who had boarded his plane, his boat, ship. But I've always believed also that this affects every single Vermonter. It adds to the economic vitality of Vermont. Miro, you and Governor and I have talked about that so often, how it connects here. And it's a gateway for visitors to our state. It supports our food and hospitality industries. But access to air travel is important for the Vermont business community at large. You and I have discussed that so many times here at the airport. And I've been proud to work with Burlington and South Burlington, the State of Vermont, the Airport Commission, and many airport managers over the years, and to make sure this continues to work. And if I could take a moment to acknowledge a classmate of mine, J.J. Hamilton. He was a classmate at St. Michael's, and he was the manager here from '89 to 2005. And we would tease each other about memories from St. Michael's, which I will not repeat. And when I'd land, I also, of course, thank Gene Richards for his service, and Nick Longo, who is here to tell me where to go when I walk through here. And I do want to say I appreciate so many who worked with me over the years. J.P. Dowd, who was the head of my office overall, was here. John Tracy, who knows Burlington better than I or anybody else could, having you here, and Carolyn Dwyer and her husband, Chief Moran, the wonderful leaders of Beta, and Marcel's wonderful cousin Ernie Pommel. So thank you for being here. Ernie keeps me in line, makes sure that I understand that Republicans will talk to me too, and straighten me out. But I think all of us, and I mentioned Republicans, Democrats, everybody, we know how important an airport could be to keep Burlington attractive to airlines. And no matter who who's in politics or what businesses. There's going to be more all the time, but the airport's going to be the most important. We have to invest in infrastructure, the advanced instrument landing systems, runway improvements, and terminal and security expansion. It's a little bit different than walking out on a gravel pathway to the airplane, but it has been especially important to Marcel and myself. It made it possible for the two of us to serve in Washington because we were a pair, and we could not. I never could have done it without her. But we knew that in an hour and a half we could be back home. And how many times, as we watched, as we've arrived, we said, "We're home, and this is home, and you've made us feel that way." And next week we're going to take our first flight since I left the Senate and came home. And I got to admit, I'm going to look twice at the sign, even though I know where I am. You got to give me that. I'm going to look at it twice. Thank you very much.
So Senator Leahy, Mayor Weinberger and I would love to present both you and Mrs. Leahy with a little bit of some special gifts here.
Great. So I'm just going to read the inscription, Senator. It says, "With sincere appreciation for a lifetime of service, tenacity, honesty, dignity, and invaluable contributions to our community and country, Leahy BTV is humbled to pay tribute to your legacy as we dedicate our airport in your honor." Congratulations.
I think this can go into my new office at the University of Vermont.
While that can go in your office, this is a beautiful board to make sure that you're putting some cheese and this is going home. Vermont cheese.
Yeah, this was coming home with us.
And then of course it's a little bit chilly of a day, so this is also for hopefully the back of your couch or the back of the chair for you.
At our old farmhouse, this is going to be really comfortable. Thank you. Thank you very much. My associate is ready to go on a picnic. She knows I'll prepare all the food. Thank you. Now I say Marcel and I made the decision after talking with our family not to run again. And proud of what we accomplished, but we wanted so much to come home and be home. And thank you. You've made us feel at home.
Once again, I'd like to thank you all for joining us on such an important day as we pay tribute to our airport's namesake. Holy cow, this is really high. Thank you to also the Champlain Valley Expo, the Mill Market in Delhi. Please enjoy some amazing refreshments in the back. 49 Design for helping us go down this road. And please hang out, stay with us. I'd love to ask the governor, all the speakers, to stay here for some photos, and then of course have you all join us for some photos as well. So again, welcome to the Patrick Leahy Burlington International Airport. Thank you all.